Okay, my extremely wonderful, intelligent friends. So this is Roger again from my university that teaches only truth and supports it with factual evidence. We don't do anything in the theoretical realm. Zero. What you will see is supported by facts. Now, what we are looking at here is Africa. And what I want you to do, kids, is to ask your teachers to look at these two things here. This gigantic fish, you see it? You know what a fish looks like. And there's a fin up there. His eye is a little bit obscured here, but there's his tail. And up here, you see what happened? His body got attacked by this stuff. And that is coming down from this dragon. You see the dragon here? See that big dragon? And if you look at him, there's this fiery, flashy eye, and it comes down here, this little flashy, fluty-looking stuff on the side of his neck that runs all the way down. And this, if you ever look and find out, when something dies, you know, they sort of rot. Now, this is what happens. This stuff here is all the, what they call this the effluent. All right, that's kind of a big word, effluent. It's the stuff that flows away from a decomposing body. You know, and it is kind of crazy. I know it sounds silly. Nobody's talked to you about dragons before. But if you go down here and you look in the throat of this dragon, and you can see that's his throat. It goes all the way. And you see the dragon scales. And it goes down, and it's a very interesting throat. You see these scales? That makes it flexible. See, they're like in chunks of 3. Very interesting. Then it comes down and down and down and down, and that's his throat. It's continuing. And they call this the Dragon River, I believe, Draco River or something like that. And then there is a story about God cut his throat. And I don't know, it looks like it's cut to me. And that's where it all bled out. The black and the red is, you know, stick around in Mud Fossil University and you'll understand all of these different colors and these body patterns. But see, it runs way down here. I mean, it's over 1,000 miles long. And this is still his tail down here. You see the dragon scales, and here's the effluent down here running off. And when you see these colors, those are metals. And you don't realize it, but you have metals in your body right now. You're full of metals. And if you didn't have the metals in your body, they're tiny, 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 tiny little bits and pieces of metals. And they flow around through your body, and they carry things with them. The metals are what they call a ligand. I know that's another word you never heard before, I'm sure. Ligand. And that is the metals go through your blood, and it has it's a pinch. The ligand is a pincher. It pinches oxygen. It pinches some other molecule, and it brings it down. It says, you need this stuff, and the muscle says, yeah, I need that. And he says, okay, here it is. And the muscle gives that like an extra electron, and this one says, okay, now you can have it. And they exchange. And then the blood brings that back up to the heart and the lungs, and that's where you get your oxygen and all those things. And then it flows through around your stomach area, and you pick up all the stuff you're digesting that you eat. Because you digest it, it breaks it down into little bits and pieces down in there, in your stomach. And the blood flows through there and picks up those little bits and pieces with those metal complexes, those ligands. We'll go through all this stuff. You stick around with me. We'll have a good time. I like teaching kids because kids learn. You know, they listen. They think. They got questions. You're going to be going to school, and you're going to say, Professor, can you tell me about this? Roger said this was a dragon. What do you think? You know, and that's what I want you to do. You have to ask questions. And I know I was a question asking her. I'd ask more questions than anybody in the whole world. I can tell you that. And that's the only way you're going to learn. And you have to be able to be sure that the answer you get is really a true answer. It's not just something they throw at you to get you out of their hair. And that's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you that's what happened to me. And that's why I ended up having, you know, you got to be kind of careful the way you do this, because I wasn't careful. I was sort of, let me put it this way. Try to be polite. And I wasn't as polite as I could have been. All right, I try to be polite, but when I wasn't getting much politeness back, I started getting unpolite. And then, don't do that. Try to just stay with it, because it's going to come. They can't hide from this anymore. They are trying like the Dickens, but it's not going to happen. Okay, so don't get upset. That's the key. Just sort of smile and say, yeah, well, you're going to find out. And they will. I mean, they're just hiding now. So don't worry about it. Just say, just check out my fish, check out my dragon. And this is where Atlantis was. All of this stuff, Atlantis was over here, and this whole area collapsed. See, all this ran out. You're 8 years old, 10 years old? If all the water in here ran out, what would you expect to see? Something like this, right? Running out into the ocean. And that's what happened. This is the area that collapsed right here. And that is what was called Atlantis. And Plato even said it was here. He said exactly where it was. He said the exact sizes of it. He said exactly what happened. It collapsed. And it was outside of the straits. You see, guys? Look, that's the straits. When they say a straits, they've always thought it was the Straits of Hercules, the Straits of Gibraltar. And you know where that is? It's up here. Let's look at that. All right, you see, they always thought it was right there, right through there. And the Straits means like there's a section where the flow goes through. Let's call it that. I really don't know why they call it the Straits, but I can tell you what, this is the Straits down here. This is as Straits as you get. That's and this is exactly where it collapsed. I looked at it collapsed over here, and all the main runoff was right over in this corner, right through here. See it? But it broke over, of course, the straits, and all of this ran through here. And this is deep. And Plato said when it collapsed, and it collapsed in 24 hours, the whole thing went down, and the whole thing drained, and there was not a lot of survivors, but where the survivors did go from Atlantis, they took over the rest of the world. They went over to Ethiopia, they went to Ireland, they went to South America, and they became the rulers of the world. These were the top guys that lived here. There's a lot for you to learn about what our ancient past was, because it's overlooked. And I'm going to tell you right now, my take, and I might as well just tell you, be perfectly upfront with you. I believe 100% in God, and that God created everything, and God is upset with humanity, and He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, down to straighten it out, and they beat Him up and killed Him. And I think you have to at least consider that deeply and then go from there. Now, whether or not that plays into your life, that's fine. And I'm not trying to convert anybody or whatnot, but I just want you to know where I'm coming from, because it's not fair to me to snipe out these little things about a fish and a dragon and all these things, which all that's written in the Bible. I mean, it's in the Bible, it's in all the ancient texts too. It's not just the Bible. And everybody has their own take on it, it appears, but everybody had the same story, basically. There was a great flood, and all these things happened. So we're going to look into them. And before we can look into anything, we need to understand the nature of particles and how God created everything to interact with everything else. Because that's exactly what it is. Every single thing there is, from particles up to these gigantic creatures, up to planets, up to stars and suns, they all have a purpose, a position, a function, and they all create basically a product. It's all designed. It's an absolute unbelievable symphony of magnificent elegance. There is just nothing. The human mind just can't even possibly think of how intricately woven everything is, from bacteria to sunlight. It's just phenomenal when you start to take it as a complete project. And I think that's what God did. He said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to check this out, figure this out. I'm going to make some water. I'm going to see this. What about these guys are going to breathe? How are they going to eat? How are they going to think? How are they going to react? What's going to be inside them to react to things when I try to attack them? How can I make them nice to each other? That's the part he missed. You know, so, well, no, he didn't miss it. We missed it. We changed it. We changed the rules. He made the rules, we changed them. And I think, just like anything else, there was, as they said, you know, hey, you better do what I'm telling you. And a lot of people are not, so that's just my take. Again, I want to come to you with the side that I am coming from, to be honest. That's all. You go your own way, I go my own way. But I want to at least let you know something that nobody else has ever spoken before. Truth. Well, as I said, nothing's right. Well, we know the Earth isn't what it's supposed to be. There's giant fish being attacked by giant dragons, spitting out, see on his fin, look at this, attacking his back, all this nasty stuff coming out of that dragon. And you say, what dragon, Roger? And I say, this dragon right here, my wonderful, exquisite, intelligent friend. Don't you see him? And they say, oh, yes, I do, Roger. And I say, yes, look, it's dead, and it is decaying, and effluent is running off his dead, decaying body. And I show this over and over. And there are words written that speak of this. And this is 1,000 miles long, my friends. It's very, very difficult to explain, but it has to be looked at and thought about with some respect and some understanding that this is not something that's new. This was written about. We were the ones that rejected this. And, I mean, I don't know if anybody ever expected it to be this big. I mean, if they can't see this from the space station, I don't know what to say. Why this is not spoken of. And I'm not going to stop speaking of it until it is spoken of, and it's not spoken of now. And the other thing is, this was an ocean at one time. This was all ocean, and it ran right out here. All right? And Plato spoke of this. Again, I think I have another video that I just put up even today, I think, that speaks of Atlantis. This is all something that is written about in the ancient texts. And when that happened, those people went and took over all the rest of the world. I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to just keep talking. I just keep talking. That's all I do. So, I'm not, there's no real school here. It's just come up here. If you like it, you like it. And just keep thinking. All right, but think. Don't turn off. All right, that's the key. The problem I'm having with the people that think they are the smartest people have the least ability to think. They're already, I've already thought that out. I'm done. Case is closed for me. And that's what they do. Now, I evolve daily. I'm telling you something. I have learned more on a daily basis than I ever thought possible. Because every day something new pops up. And I have to fit it into my beliefs. Well, not my beliefs, but my proofs. And I say, well, how does that fit with this particular thing? And, there's some things I really can't explain, obviously. Nobody can. But I'm about as far into the explanation realm as anybody is. I think I have, when I run into something, I'm like a bulldog. I'm like my little dog Nero. He gets a hold of something, he does not let go. And that's exactly the way I am. He's, my wife did the DNA on him. He's a Boston Terrier and something else, a beagle. I think that's what it was. Unbelievable. He's a tough little bugger. Anyway, that's, you got to get a hold of this. You can't let go. You got to get in there and fight for the truth. That's what I'm doing. All right? Okay, I was just getting ready to post this, and Barbara Stewart sent me this about on Sunday. Now, this is like a worldwide call for emotionally good feelings. And I think this can have an effect. I was always very, very interested in Norman Vincent Peale and his power of positive thinking. And absolutely it does. Now, I can't quantify that and say, when I'm positive feeling, it creates this. I can't do that. But I can tell you one thing. When I have positive feelings, it seems everything is positively influenced. Now, can we build a network of positive thinkers and have it all added together? That's what they're thinking about. Now, 4 times apparently. Well, go up and watch this. It's called It Only Happens Once, Urgent, Sunday, 11 p.m. Now, I think he's talking about 4 times, though. And it's at Video Advice. They have 2.2 million subscribers. I think there's going to be a lot of people doing this. And it may be beneficial. So listen to what he has to say. This is right to the end of it, but I think this is enough.
It's a scientific reality. Take our time, focus our thoughts on health, harmony, and a beautiful garden, and then collectively we will manifest those. And this is the intention that we really are working on sharing with the world.
Starting at 11 p.m. or a.m., wherever you are, with the first time the clock hits 11, we want you to collectively hold the intention of love and gratitude for the rest of humanity, for our planet, for the new evolutionary process that we are going towards, that is part and parcel of where we are right now on this planet. And it's a difficult time, I understand, but remember that difficult, painful, chaotic time is what leads to that evolutionary process which is necessary for growth, and that's where we're going. So hold that intention and visualization of where we are going to be in another month, 2 months, 3 months, and then when that clock hits 11 again, 12 hours later, do the same thing again.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Come up and watch this video, but I want to make one statement, because I'm always saying, oh, I'm always down on things. Well, let me tell you something. This, when you have a disaster like this, and anything that is a challenge, and this is going to be challenging, I can tell you that right now, at the end, you always, always, always gain something. I mean, it's sometimes it can be hell, and sometimes it can be the end of things. But if you want to look on the bright side of it, the power of positive thinking would say, at the end, when we get to the end of this, we will have learned a ton of things about the human body, about the way we deal with things, about the way we deal with other people. This is an emotional time, and there's a million things to learn here: physical things, mental things, emotional things, social things, historical things. It's a time to learn, in my mind. All right, I love you all. Thank you. Bye.